that ADHD medication. That make you wanna see a man about a horse. So I'm going to talk about what I'm actively doing and my thought process behind it. What I have learned as a loctician is pretty much like
yeah, spicy like a motherfucker, but I'm sweet, sweet.
This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you're anything like me, life can feel like a consistent balancing act. Being a mom, running a business, showing up for clients, building a brand, all while trying to stay grounded. As a loctician, I have so many deep conversations with my clients. Sometimes I joke and say at this point I'm doing therapy with a comb in my hand, but after a while I realized I needed space for myself too. At 28, I was diagnosed with ADHD and suddenly so much of my life made sense. The overwhelm, the exhaustion, the pressure of caring more than I ever said it out loud. But I never would have found any of this out if it wasn't for therapy. And that's why I partner with BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that matches you with a licensed therapist based on your needs. You can connect with whoever feels best through live video sessions, phone calls, or even messaging. What I love the most is that it's flexible, private, and more affordable than traditional therapy. There's no traffic, no long waits, and if your therapist isn't the right fit, you can switch at any time at no extra cost. Signing up is easy. Just grab your phone, laptop, or computer and head to betterhelp.com/ClutchNLoc. That's betterhelp.com/ClutchNLoc. Here you will receive 10% off your first month and complete a brief but detailed survey to help match you with a therapist. Client or service provider, just remember you are not alone and you do not have to do it all by yourself. Get started at betterhelp.com/ClutchNLoc today. Now back to our Clutch Schedule program. Hey y'all. So I have a 2-client day today. My first client was a retwist and a style. She wanted barrels going into a bun. So I showed a little time lapse of that. We started off with my 9:20 a.m. retwist and style. Y'all, I was surprised to see her on my schedule because I haven't seen her in a year. She said she needed a deep clean, so I started off with the Influence Scalp Antiseptic, and the clarifying shampoo of choice was the brand Lovely Lather Apple Cider Vinegar shampoo. Her style of choice was the barrel twist going up into a bun, so I made sure to finish off my retwist in the up direction instead of the down direction because I wanted to make sure her style was flat and seamless. Usually when I haven't seen a client in a while, I have to deal with tangling at the roots, but luckily she was maintaining her own hair at home, so the retwist was pretty easy. For her bun, I transitioned from barrel twist to barrel rolls, and then I structured the bun. In hindsight, I would have gave each barrel twist 2 barrel rolls just to give me more flexibility with making the bun, but I secured the bun using pins. The total cost of her service was $130 for a new client retwist, plus $35 for the style, totaling up to $165. And I completed her service at 12:30 p.m. Now I'm about to start my last client of the day, which is a Microloc Retie. I started her locks with 2-strand twists. I'm debating if I really want to record like detail with her because I do have her journey video, so we're gonna see. I know I'll see her again. So having a good hair day. I actually like my hair today. I'm not. I'd be iffy about what's the stuff you're keeping on the top. Yeah, let me finish her. I'm probably gonna run and take my ADHD meds today because I still have to work after this and I need to stay focused. So we're gonna see her in a second. My next client is my 12:25 p.m. that I started at 12:45 because I needed a quick break, and she has Microlocs and we're doing a 4 to 7 week retie. Y'all, we was yapping the entire time, and when I tell you that laptop was open but she was not working out of it. I have the original footage of when I started her locks, or at least the early stages of her journey, so I definitely need to do an independent journey video. But today I'm using the Interlocks tool with the bracelet and extender set. If you're interested in that tool, I'll link it in the description below. Her primary interlocking rotation is the 4-point rotation. In the independent video, I'll talk about why we chose the 4-point rotation because her journey is a little bit more unique because she was hands-on with it. This is the finished product. I ended up finishing around 2:30 p.m. Her total retie price was $165, but she ended up only paying $65. Sister had had got her an $100 gift card for her birthday, and that was so sweet. Hey y'all, so as you can see, I just finished my last client of the day. Pretty much what I'm about to do is take a quick break. I need to eat. I haven't ate today. So take a quick break. I'm gonna eat. I need to record my BetterHelp integration. I need to make my schedule for next month. I gotta do a couple things. So I'm gonna take a break real quick, eat, and then bring my stuff back to the salon and finish working. I'm glad I took my Adderall or my Vyvanse because I'm ready to work now. But I have to do a number 2. Because that's one thing about that ADHD medication. That shit make you wanna see a man about a horse. But I'm not gonna turn all this off. So yeah, I'm gonna walk outside. It's probably gonna be blowing out. But I'll see y'all when I start again. Yeah, so I'm off tomorrow. I just straightened up the salon and did some pre-computer stuff. I already recorded my BetterHelp integration, and today is the 24th, so I have to send out, I gotta make my schedule for the week, or I gotta make my schedule for May. I have my iPad. I'm going to make my schedule, input it into Acuity, send out the email telling them to watch out for the schedule, and then I'll probably text it to, because it's already 6 p.m., I'll probably text it to the VIPs tomorrow. So yeah, let's get into that. It's a damn gnat. I've been trying to kill this gnat. Anyway, yeah, let's do my schedule. So let's talk about a little bit about, and I'm probably just gonna be yapping for real because I don't know what to talk about. But this is what I'm actively doing. So I'm going to talk about what I'm actively doing and my thought process behind it. So pretty much with my schedule, what I have learned since I started as a loctician is pretty much like less is more. Don't burn myself out. I can't take everybody. And when it comes to quality, your prices have to match as well. And also niching down. So a lot of people, let me start from the beginning. A lot of people ask me how and I'm just going off of this at the top of the dome. I'm so sorry. Just to talk about with my experience with scheduling. When I first started out as a loctician, 2018, I was old school, penciling clients in, them calling me or them texting me, me giving them dates and them choosing off those dates. I was always hands-on, and that is because at the time I was active duty military. In the military, you really got to be hands-on constantly all the time because other sailors or the people that you work with, it just can just get off track. I was already used to micromanaging, so naturally with my schedule, I micromanaged as well. But over time, it really started getting exhausting because I was active duty Navy trying to deal with my primary duties, which is being a sailor, and then trying to come off work and people, 5, 6, 7 people are asking what appointment dates that you have, and then you give an appointment date to somebody that any day could have worked, but of course they picked the date that somebody only could come that day, so now you got to switch the schedule. It was just so much. I noticed I was getting more anxiety being hands-on than the anxiety that I perceived I would get if I had to deal with a booking platform. But what really pushed me over the edge when it came to my scheduling was one of my clients, and she was with me for a long time, and really after this incident, she wasn't my client no more. If you're seeing this, I'm sorry, girl. One of my clients, I would text out the schedule because I was doing everything manually. I was forgetting to text people, and of course the person I forget to text, her birthday was that month and she never got the schedule, and by the time she texted me for the schedule, everything was already booked up and I really didn't have no wiggle room to get her in before her birthday, because the times that I could sacrifice before her birthday, it didn't work for her because she had all this stuff going on. So I ended up losing her as a client, and that's really what did it for me. And I was just like, no, I need an actual booking system. I've taught classes about my booking system. I'm definitely going to be bringing the classes back. This system I felt like was great for new stylists, stylists that's not new, that are well experienced but are burnt out, how I described when it came to penciling people in and stuff like that. I taught classes on it, and pretty much I went through my whole entire booking system that made it hands off. Because that happened, that's when I started looking into booking systems. And you already know me, I love my brand, so the booking platform that I used was Acuity. Over time, I just learned how to set up my Acuity that works for my business, to where I could be hands-on or kind of strict with my schedule, but I don't need to really necessarily be hands-on to the point I have to manually book everybody. And then when it came to texting clients, I ended up getting a email marketing service, which I use. I think they're called Kit now, but at the time it was ConvertKit. And pretty much I just made a emailing campaign group that's only my clients get that specific link. And then when my schedule comes out, I'll just email them directly. The only people that I get direct communication with me is my VIP clients, because it's a smaller group of people. I can text them the actual link early rather than trying to manage an email list. And if somebody doesn't, it stops VIP or stops paying and stuff like that, I'm not constantly going in and updating it. I could just go off the updated list that's in my Acuity. Right now, and I'm going to screen record. I want to screen record my iPad. Right now, what I'm doing is going into my calendar app, my Apple Calendar, and I'm screenshotting it. And then I'm going to crop it in and then save that. How I make my schedule, I like it more pen to paper. I use GoodNotes to build out my schedule. Here is how like my schedule looks like once I'm finished with it. So I'm in March. We have April right here. So what I want to do is add a page, go to image, and then choose March. And now I have my March schedule right here. One thing that I've learned, especially when I decided to work full-time for myself, was I need breaks, and doing the same thing every day can definitely cause a burnout. I didn't really feel it when I was in the military and I was being a full-time electrician. I still to this day don't know how I was managing it, but I was really managing full-time Navy and like 60, 70 clients. I don't know how I did it, but I do know how I did it. I was pretty much working every day. I would get up at 4 or 5, get ready, go to the boat, get off work, take a shower, take a few clients, and then I got more wiggle room. Once I went to shore duty, it got to the point where I go to work, we gotta be there at 7:30. We getting off at 2. I take a shower. I'm starting another client at 3. I'm starting my first client at 3:30. I got a 3:30 to a 6:30, a 6:30 to a 9:30, and then I have a 9:30 client that rolls really late. COVID happened. I ended up getting pregnant with Halo at the time, and I definitely was taking advantage of that. I was taking like 5 clients a day every day during COVID, like not messing around, installs and all that too. So that's how I was able to build up such a huge clientele while still active duty. But because Navy, yeah, you off on the weekends, but you working every day, it felt easier than what I was doing in the military. So I didn't mind doing clients every day, because I could be turning a wrench in some oil, hot as hell, and coveralls. What is standing up on my feet and doing locks? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't mind doing it every day. But then it was a shift after I got out the military, and more of a stressor as well, because in the military, either 9-to-5 jobs too, but when you work for somebody else, that they take care of the health insurance, they take care of matching your 401k, heck, even finding the 401k company that they want to work with, you know what I'm saying? And then military, it didn't matter if I got sick, if I broke my arm, if I, if I have surgery, this, that, and the third, I'm still getting paid on the 1st and the 15th. As long as I don't get in trouble, my pay isn't going to waver. But this right here, bro, it's a whole nother, even though it was easier than the military, getting out, it made it such a mentally taxing type of thing, because now it's kind of like before, I didn't have to work every day because I had that military income, but then I get out, and in order to really get the same income that I got in the Navy and doing this combined, I really got to work for real. And then I ended up getting sick, hella stuff. That's how I was able to manage such a hefty client load. But once I got out and every little thing was on me, down to admin, down to taxes, and then I was dealing with my tax due, my CPA being a fraud. That's a whole nother story time. It takes a toll on you when you have to worry about every little thing down to insurances and all that stuff compared to when you have a job and it's mostly you just got to go in and work your hours. You know what I'm saying? Even though military, it ain't like that, but you just got to go in. And I'm saying all that to say, as far as my schedule goes, because of that, I learned that I can't work every day, that I need time off to do other things and stuff like that. Cause it was getting to a point where I am literally working every day, Saturdays and Sundays. And then I'm looking on social media and my favorite artist done had a concert near me and I didn't even know, because once I make my schedule, it's kind of, I don't like rescheduling to go places and stuff like that. So I realized I was just more so prioritizing the clients and the money, and rather than my mental health and stuff like that. My hands started hurting because I was just overworking myself. Over time, pretty much what I had to do, the reason why I haven't been really taking new clients is because I was literally already maxed out. By the time I got out the military, I had like 86 clients on my email list. And I purposely had to pause on taking clients unless it was for educational purposes, like I'm recording something or teaching a class. I really had to pause and force myself to lose clients, like meaning if a client had to move, get stationed somewhere else, because I have a real big military client base. If a client had to get stationed somewhere else, or if a client had to move, or if I outpriced my client or whatever, I had to really be okay with that and sit with that and not feel the urge to constantly replace my clients in order to get it to a load that I was able to manage without constantly feeling burnt out, if that makes sense. So then I got it to the load that I can manage with. Really, I don't really want to go over, to be honest, 60 clients is pushing it. My sweet spot is probably like 50 to 55 clients. But then after I started getting it down to where I needed it to, other things I started dealing with is the way my schedule was structured. I was waking up at 5 a.m. to take Halo to school at 6, to start my first client at 6:15. I had a 6:15 client, I had a 9:20 client, a 12:25 client, a 3:35 client, and then a 6:30 p.m. client. And I was doing that 5 days a week, 6 days a week, on Saturdays and stuff like that. And it was really taking a toll on me, because not only am I waking up super early, if I got 5 clients, depending on how the stack is, I was not able to eat. I wasn't able to work out. I wasn't able to really eat healthy. I'm relying on fast food and stuff like that. Like, it was really just taking a toll on my mental health. But the 5 client ordeal, that was what really was causing my hands to hurt, because it was just too much. Like, it was too much. That's where Acuity came in to figure out the max clients that I could take in a day, and then also to just help manage my load. For example, when other locticians or other hairstylists do their schedule, let's just say they start at 9 o'clock and then they're done with their whole day at 5:30. Most will just put in their books 9 o'clock to 5:30, and then their books is wide open for everybody. And I used to do that too, but what I saw was it would be wide open from 9 o'clock to 5:30. So then somebody will book a 10:30, and then let's just say my service is 3 hours, so 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. So instead of somebody booking that 1:35 appointment, so I don't have any gaps, now somebody books at 2:30. By the time I'm done with the 2:30, it's time for me to go, when I really could have fit, three solid clients in there rather than just 2 and have a large gap. Or maybe could have fit 4 clients in there if I really structured it right, instead of two, because people aren't booking, they're not booking my gaps, if that makes sense. Or they're creating gaps instead of just booking back to back to back on each other. So what I do is I create slots. I learned that I'm not servicing over 5 people unless I got to, like, unless I'm about to go on vacation and I need to get a whole bunch of people in. Okay, I'll do 5 people. But really, my max, no matter who the client is, how easy, how hard, my max is 4 clients, or I'm going to get burnt out. I do it to where that so I start at 6:15. So instead of it being 6:15 to 6:30, I do 6:15 to 9:15. That's 3 hours. And then I put a 5-minute gap into it. So then my next client is coming at 9:20 to 12:20. Then I put a 5-minute gap, and then my next slot starts starts at 12:25 to 3:25, and then my fourth slot is 3:30 to 6:30. That way, when they go and click in there, they ain't seeing 6:15 to 6:30. They're seeing 6:15, 9:20, 12:25, and 3:30, and that's my 4 slots, if that makes sense. So pretty much what I do with my calendar is just put the events that I want to go to in there, and then put the events that I want to go to. So pretty much mark off, or not even the events, the activities that I want to do. So some of the activities would be make my appointment for my haircut, because one of the things that I will always do is make my schedule, send it out, then try to book my nails, haircut, eyebrows, all that stuff around the days that I gave myself off, rather than looking at their schedule, plugging in those days, and then working around the days that I need off, if that makes sense. So, and even down to if I want to go to a concert, instead of just taking that whole day off because I want to go to a concert, I can now start at 6:15 but be done at 3:30 instead of doing starting my last client at 3:30 to make sure I have enough time to take a shower, get dressed, and make it to the concert at 7, if that makes sense. I keep in mind for my haircut, my nails, my eyebrows. Some other things that I have in place is I take my Sundays and Mondays are automatically off, so I'll automatically block Sundays and Mondays off. I keep into account major holidays. So this month, the major holidays that we have is Cinco de Mayo, which ain't really for us. Mother's Day, Memorial Day. So Mother's Day, that's a Sunday. I already know I'm gonna be off, but then I have to keep into account, do I want to have Mother's Day weekend off, or do I just want to have Mother's Day off? If I were to do Mother's Day weekend off, I would make sure that I'm working that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm doing, if I can do 4 clients every day that week, I'll do 4 clients, but I can't on Tuesday because Hazel has speech therapy. And let me know if y'all like videos like this. I'm not getting burnt out with the Watch Me Works, but I want to just add more variety. Even and I'm trying to get out of the whole want to be perfect and the structure and stuff like that. Like, I really just want to yap with y'all, whatever really come up for real. But so pretty much I put down the dates that I need to be aware of. So far we have May 2nd, Zach Fox has a DJ set. My client got me tickets to Young Nudie on the 27th. I'm doing like this photo shoot on the 24th, and that starts at 5. So this is just more so I can work that day. I need to keep in mind that I need to be somewhere. One of the things that I do is I don't work Sunday, Mondays, and I work 4 days a week. So the other day off is kind of like I do it after I kind of balance out my schedule, if that makes sense. But yeah, my camera about to die. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll try to get B-roll, and then I'll put what my schedule looks like after I'm done. I'll screen record the whole thing and then put what my schedule looks like. But real quick. Let me talk about this real quick. So what has helped me really get really strict with my schedule is niching down. When I first started, I was doing traditional locks, Microlocs, extensions, instant locks, the whole 9. I was doing everything. And over time, I figured out what services I don't like doing, and in turn, not doing the services, because I found that because I didn't like doing them, I was purposely driving up the price, which I feel like that's more so like an inflation of the market. Like, honestly, if you don't specialize in a service and you don't like doing a service, just take it off your books instead of just pricing it super high to deter people from booking it, because you already know there's gonna be people that got an ego or whatever. It is like, I'm gonna pay it way out of market value. Like, that's not what is really charged for those services, especially for somebody that specializes in the service. And for an example of this, I'm really talking about interlocking. Like, people that don't specialize in interlocking like whatsoever, charging $250, $350, $400 for some interlocking, but really it's because you don't like it, you're inexperienced, and due to the inexperience, that's why it's taking so long. But you're putting that on the client, but then in turn, you already know the client is going to complain about services costing too much, so then they're going to deter people from actually getting the whatever type of locks it is, because how long the services take, or because the price of the services. I don't like when people do that, so I won't do it. So that's pretty much why I don't do extensions or services I don't like, because I know if I don't like them, I'm going to price them out the ass, because I don't want you booking them. But at the same time, I know there's people out there that's still going to book it even though the price isn't justified. So and I don't like playing people, because I'm going to feel like that's a way of me playing you. So I'm just not going to put on my services to make sure my moral compass is intact. You know what I'm saying? But what has helped me is niching. So yes, I do sister lock, microlocs, and traditional locks, but my main services, I do interlocking and I do retwisting. My specialty service would be the installing the sister locks, microlocs, or traditional locks. But because my two main services are interlocking and retwisting, I can really niche my, and on top of that, I'm a members only loctician. So pretty much what a members only loctician means is my booking site and all that stuff isn't out there to the public. I'm not, and that's probably, and that's another reason why, if you pay attention to my social media, you won't really see a flyer on there talk about books open or stuff like that. I have all my stuff in-house. The people that is meant to get my booking link, they are in a specific email service. I am taking new clients. I have a specific email marketing list already, which is my wait list, where I can blast that wait list with my openings and not have to worry about making a flyer, posting on social media, and then my books being filled, and then all of a sudden I'm still getting inquiries because it's a public flyer, if that makes sense. So with me being a members only salon at that, that's pretty much stating that I have the max amount of people that I need in order to fulfill my quota every month with my interlocking and retwist services. So that's another reason why I'm able to create slots and then send it out to my clients and not really have to tell people that I'm taking new clients to fill in slots, because I make enough slots for the clients that I have. So the only downturn to being members only, I would say though, is especially if I'm in that phase of not taking new clients, the even though it's guaranteed money, the money that I'm getting is just my maintenance. My clients getting their regular maintenance. I'm not really getting that high ticket value from my installs and stuff like that. That's kind of what I learned through getting out the military, is that yes, I was making the money just servicing clients, but that's why it's important to have ebooks, to teach classes, to sell products. And even though I personally feel like I'm lacking in those areas, and I plan to build those up, I kind of had to learn the hard way that even though you're comfortable with being behind a chair and servicing clients, and you see that money coming in, it's also important to work on those other things so you can generate money. So when you are in that phase of you're not really able to keep clients or take on new clientele, and it becomes money that isn't going like this, but more so just at an even plane, that's when those other things come in, like teaching products and stuff like that, to help you maintain that. So those elements are the reason why I'm able to really get super strict and stuff on my schedule. My camera is about to die. I need to put on a charger. I'm going to finish making this schedule and send it off to my clients. But I'll try to get screen recordings of what I'm doing and possibly just do a voiceover in the video. Call it a day. But yeah, thank you for listening to me, app.